My life is so pathetic.
That's the intro.
I spent 3 hours on Monday sitting in my study thinking about what the plot of Avengers 4 would possibly
Your
be.
study.
Like
I had a study.
I found a big list
I didn't even have a room.
of
Same.
I have to share a couch.
set photos and fan theories and my own personal theories, trying to figure out what the hell is gonna happen. I got a pretty solid theory concerning Thor and Loki, though. Let's start at the beginning
And then when we get to the end.
Stop.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the intro. Hello, you beautiful internet peoples! You're listening to Nerdly Kingdom, the only podcast that,
Ages like fine wine.
Jesus, yeah, let's go with that.
Ages like stale water.
I'm Brad Williams here, Lori's there. I don't actually know why we're here. William summoned us.
William said, let's get together this day. And we're like, well, we can't because we're working.
Here
so we're
to talk about some things due to recent events, which we will get to.
We do this with our hands.
We always do.
Oh, we always do. They can't see it, and it makes no sense.
Oh, that felt good, though. Okay.
But we are here. We are gathered here today to discuss some things based off of recent news. But first, before we get into that, other newsy things, Brad, did you want to talk about Peppermint?
Oh, I guess.
I don't know if you... I figured we'd do that first if you wanted
to
do that.
I really enjoyed Peppermint. Not a single critic in the world enjoyed Peppermint. They're like, it's not a good movie. And they're probably right. I didn't go in to see a good movie. I went in to see a bad revenge plot movie, and I came out seeing a decently well-written movie that had more of a cat and mouse element at some points, and I also came out with a crush on Jennifer Garner after that.
It took that movie to get that crush. She's amazing.
I hadn't really seen her or anything else, but like, damn, that was a good movie.
She's awesome.
Well, I just said it wasn't a good movie. Damn, that was a fun movie. It really was a fun movie. It was one of those where it's like a revenge plot movie, but instead of her just going in and killing everyone, she's still weaker than a lot of them, and so she has to actually think about what she's doing. Mm-hmm. And when she gets stabbed in the side, she has that wound for the rest of the movie because the movie only takes place in one day. This doesn't magically heal because she patched it up. I really liked it. And she gets double bluffed by the bad guys because they're thinking how she thinks they think it was interesting. I liked it.
It kind of makes me think of I just recently rewatched Proud Mary. I went and saw Proud Mary in theaters because I was told that there was a shootout scene to the song Proud Mary, and I was sold. And it's starred Taraji P. Henson. But it's kind of the same way. It's it's not some outstanding movie and stuff, but by God, I enjoy watching her go in and shoot a bunch of people.
Yeah, it's fun.
And it's a sweet movie. It's a good movie. I liked it. I knew what I was going in for, and I wasn't disappointed, and I think that's okay with a movie.
Yeah, I think that's what you should get out of them. People hated that movie so much.
I don't like peppermints because they make my mouth feel funny.
The worst part
of peppermints. Soft peppermints.
Soft peppermints only.
Soft peppermints are the best
peppermints. The worst part about, because they're more sugary, the worst part about Peppermint was the beginning because you know what happens. And you're just you're seeing her struggle to pull this family together. You're seeing the cute little kid. And the whole time it's I know they're going to die. That just makes all of this sweet stuff worse. This is awful.
It's like me every time I watch Eureka.
And really stupid, too. Oh, man, this guy thought about double-crossing us. We're going to kill him and his kid in public? What? How there's no.
That's some Punisher shit.
I know, right? It was, I don't know. Whatever. I liked it. You should go see it. There's not anything. What else is playing right now?
I don't even know.
By the time this comes out, it won't be playing.
The last movie I saw in theaters, I think, was Ant-Man. No, Christopher Robin. That was the last one I saw. I haven't been to the movies
Before going the other night, the last movie I went and saw was Ant-Man.
It just hasn't. The last 2 months has been very
I didn't even plan on going to Peppermint. I just got off work at 3 and I was like,
I think whenever I get paid, I'm going to go because I don't have Movie Pass anymore. So I have to kind of plan things a bit more.
I'm back in that area where since I don't have a Movie Pass, I have to be very selective of what I see.
Movie Pass is still yelling at me.
Huh?
Movie Pass is still yelling at me. because I never canceled it. My card just changed.
Oh.
And I forgot. And like, you haven't paid. Your payments are failing on this card. It's like, yep. And they're going to keep going to, I can't log in because your servers are always down. So I was just like, let them deal with it.
Yeah, I canceled mine and said this wasn't what I signed up for.
I think me and you canceled ours on the same day.
We did. We canceled like the same day.
Because I was gonna ride it out until it started to get back on track.
You know what we should do?
I'm gonna get a little jar and I'm gonna write Movie Pass on it, and I'm just gonna put money in it, and that's gonna be my movie money.
Speaking of which, we have a PayPal for that now too. So.
Do we really?
Yeah, I have a. Well, I mean,
we have a podcast PayPal.
Well, not for them, just for us.
Well, that's yeah.
I can set it up for them, but
I didn't know that.
I posted it.
If we got any spare monies laying around,
yeah,
we can put it in the PayPal. So that we. All right. What's next?
I don't know. You get the notes.
Lead us. You're the leader this time.
I've been playing the new Spider-Man game, and it's pretty cool. I don't really have a whole lot to say about it because I'm only like.
We're supposed to have a podcast for games, but
36% into the game.
I think Jacob just stopped existing. I can't.
So, Spider-Man game's fun. If you got a PS4, definitely check it out. I'm having a blast with it so far.
If you don't have a PS4, don't worry, because any of your friends with a PS4 are going to post so many pictures from that game, it'll feel like you're playing it anyway. So, don't stress too much.
I got my PS4 the day that the game released. And then Maggie's friend Ramon came over, and he added his account to our PlayStation, and he game shares. Mm-hmm. So we got his entire PlayStation 4 library.
Very nice, very nice.
So we got just a shit ton of free video games that we've been exploiting.
I'm sure that's how that system was meant to be.
Okay, next. Captain Marvel trailer released last week before last.
I don't know. I've watched it so many times
It was fairly recent, and I guess
it had to have been like last week.
We're all excited.
I haven't seen it.
Everyone online is excited. Lori's excited.
Lori's so excited about this movie. So I started reading Captain Marvel comics because there was rumor that she was going to become part of the MCU, and I was like, oh, I gotta learn about her. And then I made the costume and was like, oh, I really probably should read some of the comics.
You get that one gatekeeping nerd sees you dressed up as Captain Marvel and starts quizzing you.
Well, see, it's more common that it's not even... I haven't even met any gatekeeping nerds trying to quiz me on it. I just meet a bunch of people going, oh my god, I love your Wonder Woman costume.
Close enough.
So I'm like, cool, thank you. But yeah, I decided I wanted to start reading it, and she's fantastic. I'm so excited about this movie.
It's funny because I'm excited about the movie, and I see everyone else excited about the movie. But when I saw the trailer, I was just like, yeah, it's a Marvel movie. Like, I'm excited about it, but I also feel like I'm like 10 years ahead of everyone in terms of like superheroes.
Yeah.
Because like we're in that point where we're just now getting like female leads in superhero movies, and I'm just like, okay.
I think
because to me it's like I'm one of those people that's like not gonna be like, oh, woman can't be a superhero. So I'm just like, yeah, cool, it's another superhero movie, I'm gonna enjoy it. So
I just, it's always really exciting just to get to see like a female lead movie though. Okay, my phone's gonna have to go somewhere else. That needs to calm down.
That vibrated so hard I thought it was my phone.
No, it was a phone call. It was a telemarketer. But anyway, it's really exciting. I remember going to opening night to see Wonder Woman, and it was an emotional thing because it's like we've had how many years of superhero movies, like even if we don't include like older superhero movies and everything, and now it's a female-led superhero movie, and it's
first.
just and so
we don't count Elektra. The Elektra movie.
Which is another Jennifer Garner movie.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it was written well.
But I hate seeing all the well, it's gonna be better than Wonder Woman, or Wonder Woman's always gonna be better. No, don't do that. Just enjoy two really good, strong female superhero movies.
Yeah, I mean we shouldn't compare. They're all pretty. I mean, every Marvel superhero could kick my
Diana
ass.
and Carol would not approve of that.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping that this female role. I'm looking for a meme video. I can't find it. This female role superhero movie doesn't have an exorbitant amount of dick jokes in it like the last one did.
Which one was that? Wonder
Woman. Like the first half of the movie was dick and sex jokes. I was like, yeah, female leads, guys.
Yeah, but at least a lot of like the jokes were kind of directed more towards the men and not so much towards the woman. Even so, you still had the whole like above average joke. I was like, yeah, great.
I thought that was a good joke. I mean, there's dick jokes that go just the completely wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
I think Wonder Woman handled it well. It's like a blissfully ignorant.
I feel like the responsibility of having this like one of the first female lead role movies, they need to kind of stray away from that a little bit.
Well, I feel
it makes sense in context, though, considering that's the first man she's ever seen.
Yeah, her side made sense. His side was obviously written to be. Anyways, it doesn't matter.
Well, and I feel the point that they were trying to do was they were treating Steve very much the way that females have been treated in movies. He was kind of that female gaze side.
Yeah.
Until the others showed up, token man.
And that's another thing I liked about how they handled it in Wonder Woman, is that none of that conversation is initiated by Steve.
Yeah.
He just kind of goes along with it as respectfully and intelligently as he can.
Yeah.
Without coming off as an asshole. So I thought they handled that well. But I'll talk more about Wonder Woman later.
But the poster for Captain Marvel down in the bottom corner has Chewie.
Oh, yeah, I noticed that.
It's got her cat in it.
I was like, hey, look at that.
And it's funny because...
Our first cat in the MCU. No, second cat in the MCU.
And he's technically... In the comics, he's not a cat. He's an alien. Because in the one I was reading, Rocket tries to kill him. And, like, Carol flips out on Rocket. And Rocket's like, and I can't remember what it's called. He lays thousands of eggs and then they're everywhere. And she goes, he's just my cat. And she comes back to the spaceship and there's just eggs everywhere. And it's funny. Like, apparently he's, like, this super killer alien. Mm-hmm. But he loves Captain Marvel, so
my favorite part of the trailer is that they set up the Skrulls in the trailer, let you know, hey, Skrulls are in this movie, but they don't set up the fact that Skrulls can shapeshift.
Yeah.
So unless you're a comic book fan and know what the Skrulls are, the scene where Captain Marvel punches that old lady in the face has to be one of the most confusing things to a general audience.
They did something so controversial yet so brave. But no, I love it because they're like, you know what? We're gonna put this scene of her punching an old lady with no context, so that
let everyone assume that old lady deserved it.
Yeah, it's like people are just gonna assume the lady deserved it because it is Captain Marvel punching her.
It seems I'm interested to see how the movie goes because it seems like the direction they're going in is Carol getting, I guess, kidnapped by Kree operatives and being brainwashed. Mm-hmm. And then she comes back to Earth and her past starts catching up to her, which I think is interesting because I feel like them doing that, the way she gets her name, Captain Marvel, is that Marvel isn't going to be in the movie like he is in the comics, but that Carol is going to be Marvel.
Yeah.
And it just becomes a mispronunciation when she gets to Earth, and that just becomes Captain Marvel. So I'm interested to see how that goes, and I'm interested to see like just how they tie everything together and what the idea of the Skrulls means moving forward.
Also, that age regression technology, man.
Yeah.
For Clark Gregg and Samuel L. Jackson.
Clark Gregg actually just looks no different.
They're just like, we're going to put a lot of hair.
Wig.
We're just going to add more hair.
But, yeah, everything looks good so far. Speaking of moving on to women in the MCU, Chloe Zhao has been hired to direct the Eternals movie. See, I don't know who... She's directed two little indie films that were very well received, and she's going to be directing the Eternals.
I don't know what that movie is, though.
It's like cosmic stuff. The Eternals.
Fascinating.
The Eternals, if I think this is right, they're a group of cosmic beings that live on Earth.
So they're not really cosmic, are they?
And they kind of tie into the X-Men in some way. I don't know. I've never really known a whole lot about them, but I just know they're making a movie about
I'm glad
them.
we're talking about them now.
So,
Well, the thing is it's like William says it like that, and we laugh and joke.
Eternals.
But I remember us sitting in Josh's car at a drive-thru talking about when they were just in talks for Guardians of the Galaxy, and Brad saying, "Yeah, like that's gonna be a hit. It's got a talking tree and a talking raccoon in it."
That's fair. Oh, I didn't say anything about the tree.
I could have sworn.
I knew about Groot, Rocket Raccoon.
Okay.
I still think
so it was.
I feel
it
like
was Rocket.
I was justified in that because Rocket Raccoon is annoying as.
Rocket is precious.
I have
He's
to
a
hate him
jerk.
because he's Bradley Cooper, and right now I have to hate Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga. In 2 movies, I have seen 5 previews for that movie.
I haven't seen that
I saw that preview
yet.
3 times. 3 different movie previews, full-length movie previews. During the same set of previews for one movie. And I don't care how good that movie's going to be. I hate it now.
I haven't seen a preview for it yet at
I haven't
all.
either. That's this year's Oscar bait movie.
Oh my
Probably.
god, they're marketing it so hard. I've never seen a movie market that hard. Are there just not new movies coming out? Are they just filling space with other previews?
I'm telling you, that's this year's Oscar bait movie.
Oh my
They're
gosh,
trying
okay.
to really push it out there.
Probably.
But,
Anyways, I'm done.
Anyways, yeah, Kevin Feige's been talking about how moving forward he really wants to try and hire and incorporate more female directors into the MCU, and so far we've gotten moving into this new phase with Kate Shortland being hired to direct Black Widow, Chloe Zhao being doing the Eternals, and Amy Bowden doing Captain Marvel. So it's exciting seeing that go forward. It makes me think actually that Guardians of the Galaxy 3 they may end up hiring a female director if
I could see that.
if things don't work out with James Gunn, which I don't think they're going to because Bob Iger's like, yeah, we're sticking with our decision.
Wow.
Segueing into that, Sean Gunn said in an interview recently that they were still using James Gunn's script for Volume 3.
So they are still going to use that script?
I guess just whoever they hire to direct may kind of change a few things.
Yeah.
How does it make anything about the Eternals?
So as of right now, there's still no news about Guardians 3, what's going to happen. I mean, I'm sure there's stuff going on behind the scenes, but we don't know anything right now.
Well, and it's like, right now, Guardians is a pretty big heavyweight in the MCU.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's like...
And Guardians 3 is being set up to
Open up
be
the cosmic stuff.
open to more cosmic stuff. Is being set. They're using that movie to kind of plant seeds for future cosmic entries. So
And so
are they
it's-
right
calling
now,
that-
it's a pretty important movie. So it's
Are they
kind
calling
of
that Phase 5, or is it going to be just
phase 4.
Oh no, I thought we're. Oh yeah,
We're-
that's what I
Phase
meant.
Are we
3.
not in... Oh, are we only
we're
in
s-
Phase 3?
We're still
Regardless,
in 3,
one is going to be
Wait,
like
wait,
Phase
okay.
1A.
So there was Phase 1 and then the first Avengers, Phase 2 and the second Avengers.
Phase 1 ended with the
And
first
Metroid, there was
Avenger.
the Phase on.
Phase 2 ended with Ant-Man. Phase 3 will end with
Why are they doing that? I always just accepted that the phases ended with an Avengers movie.
well, that's kind of how it was supposed to be, but
Like,
then the
it just-
release dates for Ant-Man kind of got
It just
muddled.
makes sense that
I
way.
Yeah.
can't believe
Like-
Ant-Man got made, honestly.
So, yeah, Phase 2 ended with Ant-Man. Phase 3 will end with
With all the
Avengers
crap that
4.
Ant-Man went through, I just can't believe it or Deadpool got made.
Yeah.
They went through so much crap.
Yeah.
I can't believe they got made and we're still good at the end.
I just can't wait to watch Paul Rudd be Paul Rudd in the next Avengers movie because I think they give him a script and he like goes foop and flips through and goes, yeah, I got this and just walks on.
It's like the opposite.
I mean,
of,
that's kinda
Tom
how
Holland.
Ant-Man
They give
happened.
4 scripts.
Paul Rudd was one of the...
And he spoils all of them.
After Edgar Wright left, Paul Rudd and Adam McKay were the two that rewrote the script.
Really?
So, yeah, that's kind of how things went down for the first Ant-Man.
That's why the first Iron Man was so good.
Speaking of Guardians 3, though, but yeah, Guardians 3 is important because it's setting up all the future cosmic stuff. I've been thinking about, like, potential directors they could hire to do it, and I feel like they're going to go with someone that's they've worked with before.
Mm-hmm.
Someone that's going to respect James Gunn's vision. And that's kind of a hard thing to do without James Gunn. And, like, I don't really like him. I'm not talking about James Gunn, but I know I talk shit about him, but I feel like if they're going to go with anyone that they worked with previously, it's probably going to be Joss Whedon.
Dear God, don't bring him back into the MCU. Just don't do it.
Because, like, the reason I thought that was I was like, well, Joss Whedon's sense of humor kind of aligns with...
I hate it because he's right.
James Gunn.
Guardians is very Serenity-esque.
And Whedon has experience there, and Whedon's the type of person
Firefly-esque.
that respects the work of... Well, it's kind of different. I feel like Joss Whedon would say, all right, this was James' movie, so we're going to try to make it as much as James' movie as we can.
I feel like it'll be like me with Doctor Who, how like Stephen Moffat, I will admit, is really good in certain things, and he needs to stay in that area and not try to do big overarching things because he ain't good at it.
He's a great individual episode writer, not a good story arc.
But, like, I'm pretty sure, like, Joss Whedon's not going to come back for Guardians 3.
I don't
But,
know.
like,
He seems to do so bad in DC, he may just start bouncing back and forth.
But I really do feel like if they're going to go with anyone that they feel like would do the same kind of thing James Gunn would, it would be him.
I was going to joke.
I could be wrong, though.
I was going to joke and be like, Quentin Tarantino. It's like, oh, wait, that's Star Trek.
Okay.
Like, oh, God. You're right on that.
All my newsy stuff is MCU related stuff.
Because the only people actually making movies anymore.
Yeah. Another thing, reportedly, I read an article where Marvel Studios will launch MCU limited series on the Disney streaming service.
Oh.
It'll be like,
what they tried to do on Netflix?
no, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not miniseries, I guess, what it is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they'll do just like a 6-7 part story and then go to something else. Like, it won't be a TV show, it'll just be a little mini-series for characters that don't have movies in the MCU. Like, I think the two characters that they're talking about doing right now is Loki and Scarlet Witch. And I could definitely go in...
going to be separate or together?
Separate.
Okay, I was
like,
about to say...
they'll do a limited series focused on
be
Loki.
Like Magic Bros.
Yeah, I mean...
They'll do one focused on Scarlet Witch. I feel like it's a good opportunity, though. I feel like it's a pretty good idea. And, but that's just up in the air.
They use, like, the big actors?
While we're still on,
like, they're gonna have, like, it's gonna be, like, MCU level budgets and everything. Like, it's gonna be...
Granted, they need that. I guess they need that for their streaming service.
Legitimate MCU content on a streaming.
And yeah, that's why this will be the only time that we'll ever do it, is because the only time that it'll be justified to spend that much money on a streaming service will be for people to go over to their streaming service.
So while we're still on Marvel stuff, and I'm so mad because I can't find the name of it. Disney is doing a new Marvel cartoon series, and it's going to have Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, I think Spider-Gwen might be in it.
Is it
What's the difference between Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel?
It's not A-Force.
Different characters.
I know that, but I know why Captain Marvel's Captain Marvel. What makes Miss Marvel Miss Marvel?
I think it's just a different name, I think.
Is she Kree too?
No.
So, I can't remember. I don't know.
I don't know female superheroes. I don't know male superheroes either. Don't tell me.
I know her name is sounds like a Mortal Kombat character. It's like Kamala Khan or something like that.
Yeah, and it is. They're using the new Miss Marvel as well. There it is. It's Marvel Rising.
And
It's got like Squirrel Girl. It might be Kate Bishop.
She is also Kree-ish.
Okay,
As Kree
I
Towers.
figured.
She was originally supposed to be like sidekick to Miss Marvel, and then they said that was
Kind of launched.
Speaking of going back a little bit, I was reading about the Eternals, and the Eternals, which I'm not sure why we're doing anything on, because apparently no matter where it exists, they never finished. Jack Kirby quit Marvel to work for DC. He's like, I'm going to make this about cosmic stuff. And then DC didn't finish it. He's like, well, I'm going to go to Marvel again and do it. And Marvel didn't finish it. So I'm like, why are we making movies about these things?
To finish
it, I guess. I'm sure they
so
finish it eventually. I haven't got that far down.
It's Superpowered Teens, Miss Marvel, Squirrel Girl, Quake, Patriot, American Chavez, and Inferno join forces to battle an unexpected threat.
That's
it's also going to have like Spider-Woman in it. It's going to have Captain Marvel. And all sorts of stuff. And it's coming out pretty soon. Yeah, it comes out September 30th. And I saw a trailer for it, and then I proceeded to yell at every single one of my friends about the fact that no one told me about it.
Apparently Eternals are like slaves to the Celestials.
Okay. Next on this list, Doctor Who release date October 4th.
Yes, so the Doctor Who release date's coming pretty soon for the new series. Well, the release date's here, but the series starts in less than a month. There's a lot of changes that have been done to the show. The first episode he's confirmed will not have the intro song in it. I guess he had to state that so people didn't freak out when they didn't hear the intro for the first episode of Doctor Who. But, I mean, every episode after that's going to have...
okay, I didn't know... I missed what we were talking about.
We switched to Doctor Who because I have to talk about Doctor Who just a little bit.
Do it!
So... he's confirmed that the first episode's not going to have the intro. People are mad about it.
Doesn't matter.
I don't know, because people are going to complain about the new series no matter what.
Why does it not have the intro in it? Maybe the intro has to do with...
People complain,
well, I think
that's what they do.
I think it has something to do with how he wants the first episode to flow.
I mean, that's fine.
I think he's confirmed there's going to be absolutely no romance in at least her first season.
That's probably a wise decision.
Yeah. There's going to be no returning characters from the previous seasons, at least for now, because a lot of people have been really wanting River to come back. They wanted Captain Jack to come back. There's been several previous companions who have stated that they'd really love to come back to be with the new Doctor and everything, which I can understand why. I mean, it's the first...
Partly because of how River was handled to begin with. I feel like she would undermine everything that the new female Doctor would stand for.
Yeah. And then I think none of the old villains are going to be coming back at the moment. He's wanting to experiment with some new stuff. So you're not going to see any Daleks, no Cybermen, or anything like that within the first new season, which once again, people are also mad about. It's almost like people just want to be mad.
People don't like things that are different.
Or female.
This is like some Last Jedi level
Yeah.
going on up in here.
Well, Last Jedi was like the best movie ever, right?
Next thing you know, there's going to be a group of like
it's
Doctor
funny when
Who
I mentioned
fans raising money to make a new season.
When I opened this podcast, I was going to say the only podcast that can't stop talking about the Last Jedi. And I didn't because I think I already used that. But apparently it was still relevant, so go me.
But it's like, I'm really excited. Jodie said that when the first episode premieres, she's going to be out of the country just because she doesn't want to be in England.
That's fair. It took me like a little while. I was like, who's Jodie?
Who's Jodie?
Do we know a Jodie?
Jodie.
And then you said the rest was like, oh, right. I knew that. Yeah.
That's
Jodie.
Jodie. But yeah, that's pretty much all the Doctor Who info that's been out. There's been a lot of leaks. Apparently, the images of the TARDIS have been leaked. Apparently, there's actually been scenes from the first episode to leak.
I mean, I have watched more than one episode before the episode aired.
Yeah. Well, no,
I haven't done that ever.
Well, this is because the BBC released sent a subpoena to Microsoft because it was a Microsoft website that like whoever released it was using like a Microsoft-based website to release all of the leaks, and so they sent Microsoft a subpoena to try and figure out who was doing it. Because it's like they were excited to release new stuff. I've stayed away from all the leaks because I don't want to know. I want to be surprised, but you know.
Good luck.
Yay. I've done good so far. Got less than a month.
I've never seen the need to be like, oh man, I'm going to see this before everyone else.
Well, I'd
stare at you, William, if I wasn't doing something else.
It almost feels like it's trying to be done maliciously to hurt the episode.
Yeah, that's very possible.
And everything, but Yeah, so that's all the Doctor Who news that I have.
Makes me wonder,
at the
because
moment.
we've got a lot of corporate crap going on. Maybe it's another, like, channel just being like, if we stop them.
It's actually BBC Three.
I was going to make that joke.
How many BBCs are there?
122.
There's
That's a lot of BBCs.
At
I don't know, they sing that song at the end of Austin Powers.
Yeah.
there's BBC One,
BBC
BBC
Two.
BBC 3.
Well, no,
BBC
BBC 4. Then there's a BBC something. And I don't know if that's a part of another, like, that's
BBC
all
Family.
kids. Well, it's the kids one. But I don't know. Maybe like 4 or 5. Do we have any British people out there? You know what? I'm going to text my friend in England. I can get an answer.
I feel
from
like
him.
William was Googling it. He could have.
No. All right, while you're doing that,
We'll
I'll
never
move,
Yeah,
know.
but
I'll move along. with
I
news.
always love
Are
bothering.
we still in news?
Yeah, we're still in news.
We're still
bruh.
in news.
All right, real quick. Kingsman 3 is apparently going to come out in like a year or two.
It's coming out next November, and
4 or 5 years from now. I'm just-
following that will be like a limited series, I guess, like a mini series or something.
Kind of like The Purge.
Filming is gonna start in January, so it's gonna be a pretty short filming schedule. Colin Firth and Jeff Bridges have already stated that they're both super excited.
Jeff Bridges is in it.
Yeah.
See, now I'm going to see it.
Yeah.
Probably end up seeing it.
And
Like, I'll
so
be
they're
honest,
pretty much
there's
confirmed.
no way I was going to see that. What is it? There's something up at the El Royale. What is that movie called?
Bad Times at the El Royale.
Yeah, there's no, like, the previews for that movie, I was like, I'm not going to watch that movie. And then Jeff Bridges like, yeah, I'm going to watch that movie.
I guess I'm kind of excited for Kingsman 3. I don't know. I like the first one. I mean, I kind of like the second one. I felt like the second one was just way too long. There was just so much stuff going on in that
I
movie.
understand your issue with the second one. I don't really agree with it, but I get it.
I don't feel the second one was as strong as the first one, but I still loved the second one.
I liked it. I feel like they just threw way too much into it and was like, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do this. It felt very convoluted, but very, like, it was convoluted done in a good way to where, like, everything made sense and everything, like, kind of moved forward to a specific goal, but it still felt convoluted.
Well, I just think that the first one was such an exciting movie because it was basically a spy trope parody while also being a spy movie.
Yeah.
And it was a really new idea and a new genre. So I don't think the second one would have ever been able to hold up to that because...
So they just went with it, yeah.
I mean, they continued the same thing of trying to keep it very spy tropey while also trying to have a spy movie. And since we already saw it once with the first one, it doesn't have like that new freshness to it. It's got a sequel feel to it. I still think it was fun.
I disagree. I think actually, and not that it's bad, I think that it doesn't feel anything really like a normal spy movie, and I think that's what they were going for because of that exact reason.
Well,
because they knew they couldn't make it feel like that first one, they embraced the craziness with robot dogs.
That's kind of how I feel. I feel like they just kind of doubled down on the
main
wackiness, and it felt like a cartoon to me.
I'll forever be proud because I was like, Harry's gonna come back. His glasses would have somehow saved him, which I was wrong about that part. I was like, but he's gonna lose his eye and have an eye patch because an eye patch is kind of a spy trope. Usually it's for the villain, but in this
that
case,
Samuel L. Jackson.
That's not a spy movie. And then I called that.
He's literally a spy.
It's not a spy movie, though. He's a secret agent. But no, and then I called that when Charlie was tased that it messed up his chip, and so it wouldn't have killed him because we never saw his head explode and he'd come back as the villain. And I was like, ooh, I was good. I called it. I'm getting really good at this.
There was one fan theory going around that Harry's glasses had like bulletproof frames, and that's how he survived. And I was like, I actually really like that idea because it's ridiculous, but it's ridiculous.
It just might.
But it was ridiculous enough to be like, oh, okay, that makes sense in this universe.
That was my theory that his glasses were like bulletproof, but it still.
But instead it was brain glue.
Eyes.
Yeah.
It was brain glue.
I feel like the direction they took was way too wacky. I was bulletproof glasses frames would have been a lot cooler and funnier.
Well, yeah, it was intentionally.
Literal.
It was intentionally over the top and stupid because it was the Americans doing it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's exactly what they were going for. That's why it was dumb. It was a shot at American spy movies, and rightfully so. Because American spy movies, like you have, 007's got these gadgets, but American spy movies are like, look at all this, Swiss Army laser knife gun!
You're almost not wrong. The first Kingsman is more of a parody of a British spy movie, and the second Kingsman is more of a parody of an American spy movie.
But I feel like that would have proved the point as well, where if they went with the same thing and they'd been like, yeah, we have this big convoluted way of bringing people back to life, and Harry could have just been like, yeah, I've got bulletproof glasses frames, simple, to the point. You don't got to go through all this effort, idiots. And
we'll never know.
There is an actual complaint about American spy movies. How the joke is that they feel like westerns. I just thought about that. Yeah, see, they knew what they're doing. I know. I like the movie. It was completely different than the first movie, in my opinion, but I had no problem.
I also love that the leader,
we're talking about this for way
his
too
name
long.
was Champagne, which isn't the most masculine of drinks. And he's like, Jeff Bridges is like, I'm Champagne, or you can call me Champ. And I just love that.
I like how, what's-his-face was advertised to be in the movie.
And he's not.
They literally put him on ice in that movie.
It's it was funny because you had all these scenes of Channing Tatum in the trailer, and one of Pedro
Pascal.
Yeah, and everyone's like, oh my God, was that Pedro Pascal? And everything. And then you go and watch the movie, and he's in the whole movie, and Channing Tatum is kind of at the beginning, shoots off his gun, smokes some weed, ends up on ice, dances at one point, and then wears a weird bowler hat in the end.
Do you feel like that was just weird marketing we got on our end just for the American side? And
I think it was definitely marketing.
It was definitely marketing.
That's why it felt so weird, because that's not initially how they were planning to market that.
Yeah.
But maybe he'll be in the third one.
Pedro Pascal.
I'm almost certain he's going to be in the third one.
Pedro Pascal doing the best Burt Reynolds impersonation I've ever seen in a movie. That's basically his character is literally just Burt Reynolds in that movie.
Evil Burt Reynolds. The
and
best Burt Reynolds there is. Anyway,
speaking of Burt Reynolds, rest in peace, Trinity.
What was that motion you just made?
I don't know.
That was the Catholic Trinity.
I don't think it was. I think it was the robot that just happened to make a cross.
The robot trying to understand humans.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Okay. Next news. Okay. Now we're gonna start to segue into the main stuff here. There was some set photos came out recently from the Joaquin Phoenix standalone Joker film. Have y'all seen those?
I have seen those stills.
I was wondering about that.
It looks pretty cool. I like the direction they seem to be going with it.
I feel really bad for what's his face.
Who?
The Joker before him.
Jared Leto?
Yeah.
I don't.
It's funny because here's the Jared Leto Joker actually has a movie in development. The Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie is a separate movie universe. It's a one-off type thing.
Are they gonna pull the whole Killing Joke thing? It's more than one Joker.
It's kind of this movie. It seems to be taking inspiration from Killing Joke and a little bit from Martin Scorsese's film King of Comedy.
Well, and isn't there because I was reading about it, and they were talking about there is one Joker storyline where it started off he's a stand-up comic.
Yeah, it's Killing Joke.
Okay. Well, I mean, that shows how much I know. So.
Yeah, and it's
I've never seen
this Joker movie is actually being produced by Martin Scorsese. So, but it looks like the direction they're going with it is that Joaquin Phoenix's character is a comedian or kind of works for a circus. There's clowns or something. And it looks like he's kind of crazy. He might be a serial killer. Or he gets involved with some crime in town to make money, and he uses a clown persona to hide his identity.
Mm-hmm.
And the way they're going about it kind of looks like he just kind of gets consumed by this clown identity and slowly kind of morphs into the Joker.
Have you seen the Instagram promo video that they did? It's it starts off
screen test.
He's the serious face and then starts smiling as the video. Yeah, that was.
And so
cool.
It looks really interesting. I'm very excited about it because I love Joaquin Phoenix and I thought he was a perfect choice to play the Joker when they casted him. And I'm really hoping that, the state of the DCEU, if they decide to like reboot or whatever, as far as Batman goes, I kind of hope that they use this to kind of open up a new Batman universe so that we can actually have a good Joker and not Jared Leto.
Well, and I love it because in an interview, Joaquin was like, I personally don't care what you guys think about my Joker. I don't care what y'all expect from me. I was like, dude.
Seriously, Joaquin Phoenix is the best.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's looking pretty cool.
I still remember those set pictures released, and one of my friends on Facebook shared it. They were like, "Oh man, da da da," and I commented, "I'm like, you guys, it's just like Joaquin Phoenix on like a random day coming back from the grocery store. Y'all need to calm down."
But
it doesn't matter. There's not going to be anyone better than Heath Ledger's Joker. Why even bother?
That's like a meme at this point. Oh, Heath Ledger's the best.
Well, I mean, there's a reason behind that meme.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. Like, and I do like.
I mean, his Joker was pretty fantastic.
Yeah, I love Heath's Joker, I feel like
I don't think his Joker is the Joker we need right now.
Yeah.
I feel like we have to kind of.
But if anyone has
let it go.
Never.
But if anyone has the possibility of like making another iconic Joker, it's gonna be Joaquin Phoenix.
That's the difference.
He's a fantastic
people
actor.
He's never gonna be the same as the old Joker. It's like I don't want
That's the point.
He's like, I don't want that.
That's kind of the point.
Now moving on to the main news that will kind of segue into this podcast conversation. Reportedly, Henry Cavill, if that's how you pronounce his name, I'm not entirely sure if there's another pronunciation for his last name.
I don't know if it's Cavill or Cavill.
Yeah, I don't either.
Cavill.
But he's reportedly stepping down from the role of Superman.
Oh, yeah.
Which is basically leading into the main conversation of this podcast. What the fuck is going on with the DC movie universe?
I heard that the DC universe is going to start focusing on Supergirl. Or, more. Meaning that they won't even really need Henry.
That makes sense. However, I feel like that kind of shows exactly what's wrong with the DC movie universe, because I feel like the reason they're doing that is because they see Wonder Woman as success, and they go, oh, we had one good movie because there was a woman in it. Let's just keep doing that. I feel like they're still like going ass backwards about this, they don't know why the movies are bad, and they don't know why they're not making money.
They're still kind of at like a toddler phase where it's like they're fumbling around on their feet and running into furniture. Like
what made Wonder Woman good was that a lot of people turned up because it was the first female-led superhero movie, but it was actually it was a good movie on top of that.
Yeah,
and that's why it did so well. And I feel like they're just looking at it had a woman in it as its main success pool, and they're just trying to replicate that success. I think moving forward.
DC really needs to...
Is that not what made it good?
DC really needs to step back, though, and it's like, I feel they're still trying to be on the same level that Marvel is.
Here's the issue. There is no DC.
It's just Warner Brothers.
It's just Warner Brothers. Random people at random times, and Warner Brothers deciding to do these random things.
And that's what separates...
There's no one in charge that I know of.
No, not there's because I mean that's the thing that separates Marvel from everything else, is that Marvel Studios was created from Marvel Entertainment. They they decided they were going to make their own movies because everything else was just a failure. And so you have people that worked for Marvel Entertainment, people that were around to write comics making the movies, whereas the rest of the movies, the older Spider-Man movies, was just Sony.
Yeah.
And it was more, we have no idea what makes a superhero movie. We're just trying to make money. Mm-hmm. And then Warner Brothers,
So they actually say that.
Not really understanding what makes the DC universe unique. And so they're just like sticking their fingers in there and trying to do what they can to make money.
And it's really upsetting, too, because if DC would just step back and decide what they want to do. If they want to make a bunch of standalone movies, do standalone movies. Yeah. If they want to create and build a franchise like Marvel has, then sit back, plan it out, and start building it now.
Have a writer's room.
It's
have
like,
something.
You don't have to be at the same point that Marvel is. Marvel's been doing this for 10 years now.
Just start slow like they did.
Start.
Yeah.
It's like
Because-
find people who are going to be in it for the long run to start working out and planning where you want it to be, where you want it to go, who you want in it. Find your director, start working on movies. You don't have to spit one out every time Marvel does.
Yeah.
And eventually you're going to build another great franchise that people are also going to enjoy.
What do they end up doing with their weird Sinister Six stuff? Are they
Sony?
Yeah.
Oh, it died once the Marvel deal happened.
Oh, is that why? Because I didn't know if they did that or just when they switched Spider-Man over. Because I was like, there's no point in them canceling that when Spider-Man switched. They easily could have just had these things stay with the new Spider-Man.
Well, Marvel Studios is setting up a Sinister Six as well.
Because I really liked that Rhino at the end of that movie, and I wanted that back. I'm the only person that thinks that.
Yeah, I liked Amazing Spider-Man 2 Rhino as well. But yeah, that's the big thing with DC is that they're kind of making it up as they go along, and they really didn't need to do that. They needed to kind of be like, okay, we're building up to Justice League, so how do we need to do that? But instead, they were just like, oh, Zack Snyder's making a Batman Superman movie. Let's just throw references to Justice League characters in there, and then we can just start on Justice League.
Yeah.
And that fucked Batman versus Superman over. That fucked Zack Snyder over. And they tried to get the Justice League as quickly as they possibly could.
And they didn't need to do that.
And they didn't need to do that. No, they really should have took their time, developed the characters, and kind of just slowly tiptoed their way to it and gotten to a point where they could kind of branch off and do whatever they want. But instead, they're trying to just push out as many movies as they possibly can. And it hasn't worked. We've gotten, like, how many movies? Is it 5? Let's see. We've got 5 released and 2 about to come out. 3 about to come out. And there's just no coherency to it. All of them range from mediocre to just bad, with the exception of one. Mm-hmm. And they just need to take a step back and
it's like,
reevaluate everything.
Within the whole time of Marvel doing what Marvel's been doing, DC's done the Batman trilogy that isn't part of the universe. They did Green Lantern that nobody even wants to remember, including the people who were in it. Then it's like you flip over and they changed, to Batfleck. Mm-hmm. And you've got the Man of Steel movie. They did that other random Superman movie, which came before all that, and I'm just now remembering.
Oh, yeah, that was like 2006.
Was that before MCU started?
Yeah, that was way before MCU started.
Well, regardless.
It was 2 years. That's not way before.
Well, it was...
MCU started...
That movie was so forgettable that everyone forgot it existed by the time MCU started.
But that's still...
Yeah.
Part of the point, and then it's that, like you've got kind of this new universe. However, like Batfleck isn't going to be part of DCU anymore.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I actually don't know if that's true or not, but because there's not been any real confirmation of that yet. It's just rumors. So I really don't know what's going on with that, to be honest. But that's another thing too. Like we have rumors that Ben Affleck's leaving. We have some sort of confirmation that Henry Cavill's leaving.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what the fuck's going on? Like, and it's a shame too, because he was such a...
He got so much crap.
Superman.
Ben Affleck got so much crap about him not being able to play Superman, and the movie came out. I was like, "See, I told you." I was like, "It's not his fault that movie was bad." Like,
yeah, I felt so bad about that too.
His acting was fine.
It's like I think Ben Affleck could have been a great Batman, but I just don't. I feel the writing has been subpar, which has been one of my issues with a lot of DC stuff.
The other thing, like the writing for Bruce Wayne, and Batman vs Superman, I thought was great, but then because Justice League is like 2 different movies kind of slammed together at the last minute, everything about Bruce Wayne becomes super inconsistent throughout the movie. So it's like, well, what's going on, And that's another big factor is that like they're rushing the movies out so quickly and changing things last minute that there's so many like character inconsistencies and like things that just don't make sense.
Well, when they make Batman Beyond, I think Ben Affleck should come back for old Batman.
That'd be cool. My mom just recently watched Justice League and everything, and so it was my second time watching it. It was when I made that whole joke that Wolfenstein looks like a super old Ryan Stiles.
Steppenwolf?
No.
Man, how come I haven't been calling him Wolfenstein this whole time?
looks like a super old Ryan Stiles. And I can't unsee it. But we get to the very end of it.
I thought he looks out like a dried up pear, but whatever.
But we get to the very end, the after credits scene, where you've got Jesse Eisenberg playing crazy Jesse Eisenberg, and is his name Deathstroke?
Deathstroke.
Yeah, and Deathstroke climbs up and everything, and he talks. My mom goes, "Oh my god, he's like Deadpool." And I was like, "Oh god."
Here comes that conversation again.
Which would have been funnier, her saying he looks like Deadpool or he looks like Slade?
Well, it's like...
I think I've asked that question before on this podcast.
Well, it's like, because we just watched Deadpool 2 earlier, because it had just come out on digital, so I bought it so that she could finally see it.
Mm-hmm.
And then that happens, and she goes, "Oh my god, he's just like Deadpool." And I was like, yeah, there's a reason for that.
Why is Deadpool so angry?
But, Warner Brothers should have hired me to kind of oversee their DC universe.
I think that would have worked.
Because, I look at all the DC movies, and, they all have problems, and they're all such easily fixable problems.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Man of Steel... Let's start with Man of Steel.
It would have been great if it didn't suck.
See, I have an opposite opinion on that. I don't think...
You think it would have been great if it did suck?
No. I don't think it sucks. I think Man of Steel is, the second best DC movie behind Wonder Woman. It was good. There were some things in there that I thought were questionable, and I was like, oh, we didn't really need this. But as a whole, I really liked Man of Steel.
I hated that movie.
Really?
But there was a lot around it. It was my birthday, and I had to go see that. And I'm like, I'm just going to make Valjean jokes because of
Russell Crowe.
I liked what they did with Man of Steel. The whole turn on Superman kind of thing they did in it. There's not a lot you can do with Superman, so I thought that was...
Yeah, I liked that they were trying to go for a different angle. This whole Superman's an alien trying to learn what it's like to be human. And a lot of people got really butthurt over the fact that he snapped Zod's neck.
Which is funny because it's the opposite of Smallville, which was he was human trying to learn how to be alien. But
see, I wasn't butthurt about any of that. I just think the movie was boring and that it sucked. I'm like, this was before I learned how to fall asleep in a theater. And so I had to watch the whole thing.
But it's I think I saw Man of Steel 3 times in theaters.
I've watched it once.
And I really like Man of Steel. There's not a whole lot about it that I don't like. And so I was like, Man of Steel, this is a really good place to just jumpstart a cinematic universe for DC. It's not great, but it's not terrible. It's okay. I didn't really have too many complaints with it. I felt like they could have handled Paul Kent's death a little better, but other than, oh, there's a tornado coming. Oh, everybody run under this bridge. Oh, don't save me, son. No one can know you have superpowers. I'm just going to let this tornado suck me up. It was so weird. I was like, this is the dumbest shit I've ever seen. But it's like, oh, they live in Kansas?
Sure.
I can't remember what state
they live in the Midwest. They live in...
Where tornadoes are frequent. So I was like, I guess they
live in Smallville. Duh.
What state is that?
It's
right next to...
I'm pretty sure it's Kansas.
It's right next to Metropolis.
Metropolis.
Well, see, because Metropolis is...
No, it's not.
There's a
Smallville's not even
Metropolis
close
in
to
Illinois,
Metropolis.
because whenever going through Illinois, there's a big Superman
I think it's Kansas. But, I guess, oh, we're in Kansas, there's going to be a tornado. But I don't know, that's the only complaint I have with it, is that, Paul Kent's death was weird. But other than that, Man of Steel is fun.
I still feel deep down in the first Ant-Man when there's that huge fight in the fake city and they destroy everything, that it was just blatantly mocking Man of Steel from when there was the huge fight and destroying everything.
Yeah.
Well, that was kind of the point of Superman. Is like, is he really a superhero?
Yeah, people got so butthurt about like them destroying Metropolis, and I'm like, well, what did you
That was the whole point of the movie.
That was the point. These two like big massive superheroes.
I
duking
never
it out.
see anyone get mad at the Power Rangers whenever they've got these big giant
Seriously.
robots. Like,
no one got mad at the fucking Transformers when they leveled Chicago in the third Transformers movie.
Yes, they did. The entire Transformers movie before that was about that. They had to go into hiding.
No, you're thinking about the one after.
Well, then that proves my point even more.
No, I'm saying like, no, I'm not talking about characters in the movie. I'm talking people that watch the movie.
Oh,
But
well.
of course, I mean,
Okay, well, yeah.
people that watch the Transformers movies and actually enjoy them don't have a lot going on up there
That's
anyway.
because Transformers movies are... The only reason Transformer movies exist is because they're big in China. Chinese people are like, yeah, destroy the city!
Crush the Americans. But, I mean, Man of Steel's fine. Batman vs. Superman is a garbage fire that is just fun to watch. It's a garbage fire, but it's one that, like, you're having a good time standing around.
yeah.
It
And
may
then-
be a garbage
That's what
fire, but boy, is
It's
it
like
cold
there's a
outside.
garbage fire and you're washing it, and then like Wonder Woman comes in and you're like, hey,
No,
and
but
you
it's
have like a
like-
great like 15-20 minute conversation with her that you really enjoy before you have to keep watching the fire.
It's like you're at a
again.
garbage fire, and Ben Affleck shows up with some marshmallows, and you're like, hey, we can, make something out of this. And then you run out of marshmallows, and then one Gal Gadot shows up with some weenies, and you're like, hey, we can make something out of this. This is fun.
And Henry Cavill's standing over off to the side
Just
with
snapping
graham
people's
crackers
necks.
and buns, going, why is nobody using these?
But anyways,
Jesus Christ.
see, Batman vs. Superman would have been such a better movie if it was just a straight-up Superman sequel, and you replace Bruce Wayne with Lex Luthor. Like, just
I don't think Lex Luthor would have made a very good Batman, but whatever.
no, I don't mean like make Lex Luthor Batman
Make
stupid.
Jesse Eisenberg the next Batman.
Oh god,
But look,
that
a big
same
part
version of
of-
Jesse
That
Eisenberg,
same
too.
version.
Just
Jesse
if you were to
Eisenberg
have-
as Lex Luthor as Batman.
If you would have
Jesus
had like, because Batman vs Superman opens from Bruce Wayne's perspective in Metropolis. If you would have switched that and had it be Lex Luthor,
And
it would have
his
been
parents
such-
died at a theater?
no. I'm talking about okay.
Jesus Christ.
Look.
This is why we don't get anything done.
Look. Okay, so Bruce Wayne's whole character arc throughout Batman vs Superman is that he thinks, seeing the destruction of Metropolis, he sees Superman as power as a threat and needs to eliminate it and do something about it or keep it in check. It would have been such a better movie if they had given that character arc to Lex Luthor. Not even have Bruce Wayne in the movie. Just let the movie be a Superman sequel. So that you
That would've made more
get two...
sense, actually.
You get Superman's side of the story and you get Lex Luthor's. And you have such a great, compelling point of view from Lex Luthor that it becomes interesting to see that debate where Lex Luthor's just like, you did all this, you're dangerous. Superman being like, no, I'm not. It would have been...
It's like, and he punches a building while he
It
says
does
it.
seem odd that you have Lex Luthor and he's got all these powers and resources, and he goes to someone else and is like, you should stop that guy.
But, like, because and then you have the fight at the end where it's
Because
like...
rich people don't do, they delegate.
Where it's Batman in his mech suit fighting Superman. You could have just replaced that with Lex Luthor in his mech suit fighting Superman. Because that's a real thing.
Does he drop his
And,
voice?
they should have just made Jeff Bridges Lex Luthor. That way it would have just been the end of Iron Man 1 again.
Like, I mean, Batman vs. Superman had a great potential as a Superman sequel if you would have went a route of making it a Superman sequel.
I think Jeff Bridges would have made a great Lex Luthor.
And then just make a separate Batman movie focused on Batman,
I'm not letting that go now.
What?
I think Jeff Bridges would have made a fantastic Lex Luthor.
But don't shave Jeff Bridges' head. He
I
just
feel
has
like,
hair.
I feel like Jeff
he
Bridges
just-
is too old.
Well, he could be old Lex Luthor.
Well, I mean, there's old and there's old, and
Yeah,
Jeff
but
Bridges is
why is Batman almost old, but Lex Luthor's still a teenager?
we have
Lex Luthor
all-
is supposed to be like same age or older than Batman.
We have
I don't
already
know.
established that the DC Warner Brothers cannot CGI people's faces to make them younger or anything. So
I think Jeff Bridges with a walker could have taken out Superman.
Jeff Bridges as both Lex Luthor and Superman.
Anyways, I'm distracting you. Continue.
But yeah, that would have been a great Superman sequel. Then you could have given Batman like a standalone movie, do the Wonder Woman movie, and then maybe do the Aquaman movie before Justice League. So once you get the Justice League, all you have to really do is introduce Cyborg, because his backstory ties into the Cube, and then have Flash do what he does in the movie, because it's like introducing two superheroes in one movie isn't that hard.
My biggest complaint with Justice League is that they cut it down so much. It's one of those movies that would have benefited from being longer. And I don't understand why there was 30 minutes of, he might be evil because he's part of the Cube, if they weren't going to act on that. I think that would have been great if in the middle of the big battle when everyone looks like they're going to lose before Superman comes in, he loses control and you can say I'm sorry guys, and starts killing everyone because he's got no control over his cyborg bits.
They might have done that.
That would have been great. And then at the end he's like, I can control myself now. It would have been more of an accomplishment than... Yeah, you have been the whole...
It feels like that's something that probably existed before they decided
Michael
to do
Jordan
reshoots.
juice was just water the whole time.
This is Michael Jordan's good stuff. But yeah, I've talked enough about Batman vs. Superman. Another thing about Batman vs. Superman. I just remembered this.
That was so fast.
All right.
You didn't even finish your sentence.
Why do they make Superman look so pathetic the whole movie? The whole
he was
movie,
dead.
Superman looks so
Oh, wait,
depressed.
one before
The
that.
whole movie. There's that one
He was dead
montage.
inside.
There's that whole montage where they have Superman helping people, and they're like, we think Superman's probably doing some good stuff, but he's probably really dangerous, and we need to be wary of him. And he's saving people and doing all this stuff, and he just looks depressed as hell the whole time. He doesn't even look happy to be
That's
a superhero.
because he knew at the beginning of his next movie he was going to start with this vertical line of going, You ever fought a hippo before? They're the most dangerous.
He knew that he was in a franchise that was.
But anyways,
doomed.
whatever.
That whole movie. I'm glad.
Why did they go with Doomsday? That was a perfect opportunity to introduce a Bizarro character.
It would have been interesting. Yeah.
What if they've been I tried to revive Zod and created Bizarro instead.
To be fair, that probably would have been the next thing they should have done if that had gone. The first one had gone away.
No, that made too much damn sense for Warner Brothers, didn't it? They were just they read the script and they were like, yeah, we like this script, guys, but the Bizarro character, can we just have a scene where he fights the cave troll from Lord of the Rings instead?
To be fair, is you saying it doesn't make sense? Going back to what I just talked about, they spent millions of dollars CGIing off a mustache for you're fine, a hippo. Was that really worth that money? Was that money well spent? Because I'm not sure that it was.
I don't know, but it was worth it to me.
What does that add to that movie?
It was just a small little endearing scene of...
That cost
Yeah,
millions of dollars!
It was about as small as his CGI'd mouth.
Oh, well. Okay, I think I'm done with Batman vs. Superman. What's next? Suicide Squad?
Let's see.
Man.
Oh, in the DC universe, I've seen Wonder Woman, Justice League.
I think I'm the only one that's seen all of them. Have
I've
you seen
seen-
Suicide Squad?
I haven't seen Suicide
Yeah, I'm
Squad.
the only one that's seen Suicide
I've seen
Squad.
bits of Suicide
I mean, is that
Squad.
really something to be proud of?
No. Do yourself a favor and just never watch that movie unless you hate
That
yourself.
movie had so much potential.
It really did. And Warner Brothers screwed it over because they were like, oh, hey, David Ayer, you've got 6 months to write a script and get through post-production. Go. The movie's a glorified rough draft.
I haven't seen it.
That
I
still got reshot almost the entire movie.
I still
Not Suicide
support
Squad. No, it got
Margot-
re-edited, but it
Yeah,
didn't.
that's what I meant. Re-edited.
I still support Margot Robbie wanting to make an all-female DC movie.
They still are.
They are?
Yeah.
Good.
It's got a release date now. It's July of 2020, I think.
That's not too far off.
No. But
It's 2 years. Relax.
Suicide Squad has like a very small handful of good things going for it.
If it had been released in 2008, when Scene Kids were still a thing,
it still would have sucked.
Hit.
See, that's the thing that bothers me. Like, why go in that direction? Like,
Because
what?
Guardian of the Galaxy just came out.
No, I'm not talking about like the tonally, but like the way they went with Joker and Harley Quinn. Like, why? Like, what's the point? Like, it's so stupid. No one gets face tattoos.
There's a whole culture of white rappers who mumble a lot that beg to differ with you.
Oh, shots fired.
Anyways,
All right.
but it's like Suicide Squad had some good things going for it. Like, you could see the foundation of a decent movie in there. Just never had time to come out because...
Well, one thing I like about the DC movies of what they could have, should have been, was like you have Superman. It's a movie about a good guy who everyone turns on because they think he's a bad guy. Batman versus Superman is a good guy trying to fight the bad guy. He's a good guy, so that makes him a bad guy. And you have Suicide Squad, which could have been about good guys trying to force to be, or bad guys trying to force to be the good guys, but they're still bad guys. But instead, you just got, I'm crazy.
Yeah, that's the thing. So
I send a dead rat to this person and a used condom to this person.
No,
I wonder if he actually did that, or if that's just something that the production company did.
Jared Leto's crazy. Where does the Joker end and Leto begin?
The thing
I
is,
genuinely could see Warner Brothers
I feel
just
like
doing that
Jared
being part of his
Leto-
contract.
To try and be edgy.
I feel like Jared Leto kind of gets a lot of shit for that, but at the same time, like, that's not his fault that people overhyped that.
Oh, I know.
Like, I feel like, yeah, he did that, and yeah, it was kind of weird, but at the same time, like...
Not to mention unsanitary.
I feel like everyone else in the cast was like, yeah, Jared's so crazy. He sent us used condoms and all this stuff. What a crazy dude. And then Will Smith was like, I've never even actually met Jared. Because anytime we were on set together, he was just the Joker.
And see, and I think that's one of the things that turned me off from the movie, because they were playing that up so much, and I felt it was really kind of disrespectful to Heath.
But also,
because
that didn't even mean anything.
but you know why they were doing it. Yeah. Because Heath had put himself so much into that character and everything, and then he died.
Yeah.
And so they're like, oh no, is Jared gonna be okay? And I'm like, dude.
That's the thing. It's like
pretty messed up.
The Joker wasn't
really
even what killed Heath Ledger. So, like, people just always compare.
It's like they played off those rumors, though.
Yeah.
Like, they played off of that. They played off of the fact that Heath had a really good Joker. The fact that there's all these rumors that that's what caused Heath to go off the deep end and kill himself and all of this. And but that's the thing. That's the big, deep underground rumor. And Warner Brothers just played off of that, completely played off this dude's death and tried to cash in on it.
It's so stupid. He was tired and he was hurting, so he took 2 medicines at the same time that didn't go together.
Yeah, like...
Exactly.
Thousands of people died the same way because they're both over-the-counter medicines you're just not supposed to mix.
But, I don't know. I feel like...
It left a bad taste in my mouth.
That's
and
fair.
it felt disrespectful, and so I never really saw the movie.
But I mean, there's like I said, there's a foundation of a good movie in there. It just never got a chance to come out because of how rushed that production was, because they wanted it out so quickly. And I want to talk about it for a minute. Okay, so Suicide Squad. The plot of Suicide Squad is that the woman who hosts the spirit of Enchantress discovers the artifact that contains the soul of Enchantress and the box that contains the heart.
Mm-hmm.
The heart ends up getting transferred to Amanda Waller, who basically, if you have the Enchantress's heart, you control the Enchantress. And they were going to use the soul of the Enchantress to do like some stuff. And then that ends up backfiring. The Enchantress gets full possession over the woman's body, takes the heart for herself, and then opens this portal to do something. I can't even remember what her plan was in that movie. She was like, I'm going to resurrect my dead brother and then shoot a big laser in the sky, and I don't know.
So a typical, like, Wednesday night.
Basically. And then they were like, all right, we got to create a task force to go after Enchantress, because I guess, Batman and Flash are too busy doing something else. And
It's like the whole Justice League is busy doing something else besides saving the world.
yeah. And that's not the stupidest part about the movie is they're like, what if Superman flew down, tore the roof off of this building, and killed all of us? We need a task force in case Superman goes off the deep end. So they get Deadshot and Harley Quinn? Like, what are these shuckle fucks gonna do against Superman?
It's a pretty accurate description.
It's like, the thing is, so, like, they band together all these villains, and they're like, alright, y'all are gonna go and, deal with this
little birdies.
Deal with this problem. And it's stupid because, like, there's too many characters in the movie. Like, you have the Suicide Squad, and it's Harley Quinn, Rick Flag, of course, leading them, Deadshot, Captain Boomerang, Killer Croc, Slipknot, Diablo, Katana, and someone else, I think. That may have been it. And 3 of those 8 characters get character arcs. 3 of those characters get character arcs. One's there for comic relief. One's there to be a stereotypical black guy. One's there to die, and the others are just there for fucking who I don't know. They're just
hey, we're
literally
in this movie.
Katana's. This is real dialogue in the movie. Katana shows up with Rick Flag, and Rick Flag goes, "This is Katana. She's got my back. Her swords trap the souls of those she kills with it, so I advise not to get killed by her sword." And then she does nothing for the whole movie except stand there. She never uses her sword once.
Jesus.
She never does anything, so why is she there? The whole time, the whole movie, Diablo's like, "Oh, I don't give a shit about none of y'all, I only care about myself, blah, 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 I killed my family on accident." And then at the very end, he decides to sacrifice himself. He's
That's the part I've seen where is that the one where he just, like, leaves? And then, like, 2 minutes later, he comes back, it's like, "Oh, never mind, you guys are family."
pretty much, yeah.
Like, I was like, what am I watching? I don't understand.
But Diablo is like, "I lost my one family. I'm not gonna lose another one."
Yeah,
and then
that's
sacrifice himself. I'm like, dude, you've spent the whole movie talking about how you don't give a shit about any of these people, and then like at the drop of a
known each other for like a couple of days.
Yeah, at the drop of a coin, you decide that this is your family now, and you're gonna sacrifice yourself for them. What the fuck is that bullshit?
I'm not the only one that thought that was weird.
I felt like they should have done. The team should have been Harley, Deadshot, Flag, Boomerang. Killer Croc could have been there, but Boomerang should have had the character arc Diablo had, because Boomerang's whole character was he was just this goofy comic relief that didn't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
And that would have been the character you wanted to give that story arc to, who by the end of the movie learns how to give a shit.
His heart grew 3 sizes.
And
Speaking
but I
of
mean,
3, that's how many times Boomerang Man used his boomerang.
At least
That's a big complaint that I've heard in that movie a lot.
But it's funny because Slipknot's introduction is that he gets escorted out of a van by a bunch of armed guards, and Rick Flair's like, "Hey, that's Slipknot, the guy that can get anywhere." And that's it. I'm just like, what does that mean? And then as soon as they get into the city, Slipknot throws a rope at a building and glides off, and they got the chip in their neck that blows them up, and he blows up. And I was like, I guess that guy was just there to die. But, yeah, I mean, it's stupid. And there's this whole subplot with the Joker trying to get Harley Quinn back, and there's this whole thing about Harley Quinn kind of like having to choose between leaving with the Joker or staying with the squad. Kind of a whole, think for yourself type thing. Mm-hmm. And it's there, but they don't really do anything with that, because by the end of the movie, she goes back with Joker anyways, because he breaks her out of jail. But I really felt like if they were going to do that, they should have, instead of going the way of Enchantress and doing like this big laser beam shooting up in the sky and opening portals kind of story, they should have just made Joker the main villain. Yeah. And then being like, okay, Joker got a hold of something he didn't need to get a hold of. We need to create a team to stop him. We'll use supervillains, and we'll put Harley on the team, because that may help, that may get him to kind of
diffuse the situation a little bit.
Yeah, diffuse the situation a bit.
And I mean, that could have played, if they did it that way, that could have played really off of the fact of Harley really having feelings for the Joker, and the Joker really not caring about Harley at all.
Bad guy. What would they have done when they cut the Joker out of the movie?
But that would have added more to that story arc, because you would have had that thing of, well, will Harley betray the team to go back with Joker, or would Harley finally, break that bond from Joker and stay with the team?
So much more sense.
And honestly, I mean, you could have really gone either way with it, whichever one you wanted to do, because you could have had that ending where, say, Joker has the thing he doesn't need and has incapacitated the entire squad except for Harley. And you could have done a thing where Harley decides to go with Joe, and Joker's probably doing this whole smooth talking thing, trying to get Harley to come back with him. And you could have done one ending where Harley where Harley kind of plays along with it and then knees him in the crotch, takes it, and goes back to the squad kind of ending. Or you could have gone the other ending where it was where she decides to go back with him but distracts him long enough to disarm him of what he needs, saves the day, but doesn't go back with the squad, goes back with the Joker, but she's still kind of a hero in that situation. Yeah. You could have done either and it would have been fine, but instead they kind of just half-assed it a bit.
I think they should have let the Joker win, and then the next movie been about that.
And then
Batman versus the Joker.
I don't know. There's a good movie in there somewhere. It just never really. It never comes out.
It's one of those things you watch and you're like, I can see the potential if you had given it a little bit more time.
If you had written it.
If you'd have given it more time, added a little more heart to it, it would have been something unique and something really good.
I feel a lot of DC movies have that problem, though. It's like you watch it and you're like, I can see a good movie in here. I can see that potential that was there.
It just never gave it time to grow.
Yeah, but you didn't let it grow.
I can't get over. I don't give a shit about none of y'all. Y'all my new family. I'm gonna sacrifice myself for y'all. Wah!
I mean, to be fair, maybe that was 30 minutes they cut out of the movie where that bit right there.
It's funny, too, though, because you do that, and to compare it with the MCU all over again, that's Rocket's character.
Yeah.
That's his whole arc in the second Guardians movie.
But Rocket has that arc.
Well, but see, that's what I was getting at. Rocket actually has the arc of, I don't need nobody, I don't care about y'all and everything, and then you have the whole arc of, oh my god, this is my family, and oh, they're all dead in the next movie. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, he had 2 movies to work on that, and they couldn't even get that done in that.
But, I don't know, it's just... I still am never gonna get over Killer Croc just being a stereotypical black guy. I don't know why that was a good idea to them, but it's because each character in the squad, because of their compliance, are granted one thing. And Killer Croc's wish is that he wants a TV in his cell so that he can watch BET. And it ends with him, in the ending it shows him sitting on a couch watching some rap music video, and he's like, hell yeah. I'm like, this is the dumbest shit ever. But anyways, shit, I don't have anything to talk about with Justice League. I've talked enough about Justice League. Wonder Woman.
Refer back to episode 1 when we
refer back to the very first episode.
Episode 1, episode 2, episode 3.
Wonder Woman's good. Jedi. Wonder Woman's the good movie. Although Wonder Woman's a 7 out of 10 movie that was almost a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
But kind of dropped the ball at the very end. They had such a good, because it genuinely took me by surprise that they went with a, hey, I killed the bad guy. Oh, wait, the war's still going on. What's happening? Oh, Diana, I tried to tell you, humans are just inherently violent and evil, and there's no Ares.
Yeah.
And they could have done something, Wonder Woman been like, well, because a part of her character is that she's very compassionate and empathetic. And that would have been a great opportunity for her to be like, well, this is, I need to stick around, and through my actions and my compassion, I can show mankind that it's okay to love each other and defend each other. But instead it went from, oh no, humans are inherently evil, to I've been the secret bad guy all along.
They could have still done both. Humans are inherently evil, and that's why he could be the secret bad guy. But in the end, she kills him, and all the Nazis are like, "Oh yeah, we're good now. We'll stop shooting you. It's fine."
Yeah.
Because some random dude died, we're not gonna shoot you. Granted, it might have been because she was shooting lasers. But
I mean, I feel like
I loved who they chose the God of War to be, though. As in the character, that character-wise, because the whole time you think it's this, hungry war general guy who's we're experimenting with these weapons and this gas and all of this, and it's you have no reason to not think that this would be the God of War,
and I always thought it was the poison
and it
lady.
ended up being the guy who, he manipulated everything to become what it was. He used words, he used intelligence, he used this and that. And I love that they didn't go with the strong, like, sort of thing, and they went more with, like, the quiet intelligence is what the God of War was.
I have an issue with that, though, because that's not what Ares is. Ares is literally the god of dumb war. They have, like, Athena is the god of smart war. And Ares literally goes in, bashes everything, and then loses because he doesn't have any tactics. But for a movie, that's good.
Yeah, and the movie...
I think it's funny in action mythology.
It's a great twist. We'll see in Hercules and Xena, the God of War.
That's fair. There's a time and place for that.
I really felt like with Wonder Woman, they finally aspired to be what they feel like DC movies should have been, like darker, more thematic superhero movies.
Well, and they did a good job of kind of keeping Wonder Woman with that same darker, serious tone, while also somehow still feeling kind of lighthearted. It had its little moments of jokes and everything. But, you know, it's like, because... It's not this dark and broody sort of thing, and I know that's Batman's shtick, that's how he is, but you see Diana, who's on this mission to save humanity and to do this, however, she's like, you know, oh, a baby, and, you know, she can still see, like, beauty, and they show that still in the movie, like, even through
I got that. The other thing, I have no problem with the movie whatsoever, I just have a problem with how they chose to end it.
Yeah.
But part of me also feels like the original script, that was probably how they ended it, and then the studio was like, yeah, you need to have her fight somebody.
Yeah, we need a big all fight scene.
We need a big old CGI
just
fight
real quick
scene.
to prove a point. Ares says is the god of war, and then you go to Athena, is the goddess of strategic warfare. He's literally the god of dumb war.
He's the god of
Yes, he's the god of smash.
He's the Leroy Jenkins of gods.
He's stabby smash.
Yeah.
And Athena.
Well, he did lose.
But it's just, I feel like after this is all said and done, I feel like the only, like, real bad movie we've gotten out of all this is Suicide Squad. Like, I feel like you could go back to the DCEU, take Man of Steel, Wonder Woman, Batman vs. Superman, Justice League, Aquaman, and the Wonder Woman sequel, and just kind of make your own little DC movie universe with those and be happy with it.
Are we going to have to marathon those now?
No.
I was going to say, God, I hope not.
No. It's kind of because I kind of do the same thing with the X-Men movies where
if you watch one, then one, then one.
I kind of create my own continuity by kicking out the bad ones. And I mean, you can do the same thing with Justice League or with the DCEU, but I mean, it's not recommended.
That's what I do with the Marvel movies. There's so many parts of Thor: Dark World I like, but then the rest of the movie just makes me not hate it.
Thor: Dark World is got the best written Loki.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, Loki in Thor: Dark World is my favorite Loki. Like, I love him in Ragnarok too, and until Ragnarok came out, it's like, because I love Ragnarok Loki too, but Thor: Dark World Loki showed, like, a really damaged dude who could still make quips and jokes.
Yeah.
And everything. So you saw how broken he was, but he was also a trickster.
Perfect timing. We can use that to segue into something else I kind of wanted to talk to you about that we're going to add to the podcast just because. So Monday, because I told you about my Loki theory, didn't I, in Avengers 4?
I feel that you did.
About him being in hell?
Yes.
Okay, Monday I was looking at set pictures of Avengers 4 and thinking about, like, where the plot might go, because that's what I do in my free time. And one thing that struck me as interesting is that there's some set pictures that they shot some scenes in the cathedral that they shot Thor's vision in from Age of Ultron.
Ooh.
And I think they're going to kind of bring that back. And I think that Thor's story arc in Avengers 4 is going to be assembling an army to fight Thanos. But
I'm trying to think. I'm still trying to pull back the cathedral scene. Age of Ultron is, like, my weakest.
The one where Heimdall, it's the vision that Wanda gives him. Where Heimdall's like, son of Odin, and his eyes are white. And he's like, you led us all to hell.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Because Asgardian mythology, basically, if you die in battle, you go to Valhalla, but if you just die, you go to Hell. Which is basically what happens in Infinity War. Thanos kills everyone, and so...
I'd say Heimdall died in battle.
Thor brought on Ragnarok and led them all to Hell. And I think what Thor's story arc's going to be is that he's going to travel to Hell and raise an Asgardian army to take on Thanos. Because there's a weird... And Loki plays an important part in that. Because I keep thinking back to Infinity War and Loki's death, and between the start and the ending of the Hulk fight, Loki goes from, like, terrified to suddenly very optimistic and charismatic. He's like, if you're going to Earth, you may need a guide.
Yeah.
And he does this whole son of Odin's son, I pledge my undying fidelity. I feel like that's going to come back into play because of how Loki's acting. I feel like during the Hulk fight...
it's it's a really big deal because it's like one of the first times Loki really refers to himself as Odin's son.
Yeah, and that's going to be important because since he's...
And then he says the sun will shine
Frost Giant...
Yeah, that's what I said earlier in the Discord.
Yeah, since he's a Frost
he
Giant...
He wouldn't go to Valhalla because
he might not get access to Hell or Valhalla, but that Odin's son, he draws it out and makes a big deal out of it. I think it's because Doctor Strange appears to him and tells him he needs to die. That it's important that he dies and does that and gets to Hell, because if Thor's going to Hell to raise an army, Loki's going to play a big important part in convincing Hela to let Thor take an army of undead Asgardians. And I don't know how they're going to play that out. Maybe like Hela wants Thor's soul or something. I don't know.
Does that mean that we get to see Hela again too?
Yes.
God bless.
But what I think is going to happen is that Thor is going to lead a revived Asgardian army. It's going to be Thor, Valkyrie, Loki, Heimdall, Sif and the Warriors 3. And like all the Asgardians are going to show up, Helm's Deep style, and take on Thanos.
That'd be really cool too, because I feel that the Asgardians got a really short end of the stick, like movie-wise.
Yeah.
Like Sif and the Warriors and Ragnarok, y'all are all dead.
See, that's what I was saying. When he brought up that theory to me, I was like, is that why they killed them off so quickly in Ragnarok?
Maybe.
Yeah.
But, and I think that, because a lot of people were like, well, Loki didn't really get a redemption, and I think that's going to play into giving them all a redemption arc, because since they're revived and they're dying in battle, they'll be able to go to Valhalla. So at the end, Loki, Heimdall, the Warriors 3 will all be able to enter Valhalla instead of go back to Hell, and I think that's going to be a very important moment for Loki.
What about Odin? He didn't die in battle.
Huh?
What about Odin? He didn't die in battle.
Yeah, but he's Odin. He didn't die. He just disappeared.
Odin just yeeted out of the universe.
Maybe if you've done enough battle, it doesn't even matter anymore.
Yeah.
He battles inside with his inner demons because he's got a lot of them.
So, but I think that's going to kind of... I mean, I don't know. I feel like that's going to happen.
I could see that.
That's the only theories I've got. I can't think of anything else because...
All I know is that it means that we're going to get to see the original scenes from the original Avengers movie, because they reshot some of those.
That's what I'm curious about.
Because those were the first set scenes that were released before Infinity War came out. Because everyone's like, wait, what? Because they're all in their Avengers outfits.
Because it seems like they're going to be doing some time traveling, but I don't know to what extent. Because to me, time traveling seems weird. Because if you go back into the past, because there was some rumors that like they're going to go back into the past and collect the stones in the past. But I'm like, if you do that, then
paradoxes everywhere.
Yeah, and it's like I feel like they don't want to do that. Because, I mean, if you go back and just take one stone, it's going to undo the snap because Thanos wouldn't have gotten the stone. So it's like, how are you going to do that? I don't know. I mean, it's hard to tell at this point. I do feel like the way the other characters are going to come back because the Russos have been like, they're all like straight up dead.
Well, see, I always assumed that the Russos had said everyone who died stays dead.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't include people who dusted as people who died.
They've said that that they're dead.
Well, the Russo brothers are liars.
But the way I think they're gonna do it is that I feel because they do that they do a big thing about saying throughout the MCU that the stones kind of think for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And when Thanos
so the stones
snapped,
heard their idea and said, "Oh, everyone being dead is a dumb idea." So we're gonna.
What I think they do is that when Thanos does the snap, I feel like the stones created a parallel reality to balance out. Because, like, that much widespread disappearance would just cause a cosmic unbalance.
Yeah.
And so they created a parallel universe. And I feel like all the surviving Avengers, or all the Avengers that got snapped, are just going to be their parallel counterparts in Universe 2. But it's not going to be the same characters. It's going to be copies of them that don't have the same memories.
Oh.
So, and the way they come back is they kind of... When they fix everything, it merges the two universes together.
And so you're getting them back, but it's not.
So you're getting them back, but
no,
it's not them.
I hate that. I hate that.
Do you think they'll end up with sort of like that? Well, regardless, do you think they'll end up with like having both sets of memories, and so things will be really different?
I feel like
that's
maybe
the Eureka thing that always bothers me is they end up in the other universe and they never get out of that universe.
Maybe it'll be
And
like Donnie Darko, where
it
some
stresses
characters
me.
can remember what happened and some can't.
Like, that Rick and Morty episode where they end up with like 64 different sets of memories, so they have a hard time keeping up with which one was which.
Yeah. Because like I was playing around with an idea of how Scott's stuck in the quantum realm, and
regardless, Vision is dead completely.
Scott's stuck in the quantum realm, and I feel like
because in the comic books, there's a thing with Vision where Vision becomes something else. Like he comes back, but he doesn't like regain his color, and he's something else.
But I don't know. I feel like the thing with Vision is I'd like to see more Vision, but the thing.
That was a funny sentence.
But the thing is, like, a lot of his character was kind of tied to Infinity War, and it feels like his character arc is kind of over.
Mm.
Well, I mean, I could definitely see a miniseries of him and Scarlet Witch.
Yeah. And I mean, I'd like to see more because I feel like he's only been in 3 movies. They haven't done a lot with Vision. Mm-hmm. But I don't want them to undermine the deaths and take away all of that because of just how impactful they were.
And his death was pretty rough.
Didn't he died twice?
Yeah.
But I like to imagine that the final battle is going to be Thor and the Asgardian army showing up, all the surviving Avengers plus Captain Marvel and Nebula Rocket showing up.
Showing up to what?
The battle, Brad.
The final battle.
The Infinity War.
All of the heroes that were snapped show up. And so they're just every hero in the MCU fighting. And all the OG 6 Avengers just go straight for Thanos.
But, like, his gauntlet looked like kind of destroyed-ish.
Well, this is the thing. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Where are they showing up to fight? Thanos is done.
No, that's it. Okay, look.
He's still alive, therefore
they made
he's
a thing
not
of showing that Thanos is still super powerful without the gauntlet. He's still strong as shit. But the thing about his arm being messed up is someone on Reddit made an interesting point that they have problems with their arm and it makes it difficult for them to make a fist. Mm-hmm. Thanos can only use the gauntlet if he makes a fist. So you're going to get a fight scene with the Avengers and Thanos where Thanos is having to use his brute strength, and every so often he'll get a chance to make a fist and do something. Mm-hmm. And what I think is going to happen is they're going to do, it's going to be the OG 6 Avengers and maybe a couple of other random characters going after Thanos. And all of the original Avengers are going to do something that leads up to fixing everything, and they're going to die in the process. I feel like the only 2 that might survive... Out of all of them, the 3 that I see surviving is going to be Tony, Nat, and Thor. Mm-hmm. But I don't know which ones. Just those 3. Everyone else is going to die. But they're all going to die, and then at the last minute, they're going to get the gauntlet off of Thanos. They're going to give it to Hulk. Hulk's going to put it on Snap, and the powers, just because Thanos is stronger than Hulk, the power of the Snap's just going to kill Hulk. Mm. But that's why I think they're doing Professor Hulk in this movie, because the only way for them to, the gauntlet can only really fit Hulk, and merging Bruce and Hulk into Professor Hulk gives them the chance to use Bruce's mind and Hulk's strength to do the same thing that Thanos did, and it's going to kill them.
Interesting.
Okay.
So, this is what I do in my spare time. I just think about Marvel stuff.
What are you going to do after the movie comes out?
I literally sat in my study
He's
for
gonna
3
think about what the
hours.
next arc is gonna be.
He's just going to pick a different movie. It was just like when,
Yeah, I mean,
Aloso William
I'm
movie
like
coming
all in on the MCU. I'm just like, I think about it all the time. I feel like it'll last another 20 years and then they'll stop.
I'm okay with that.
out.
I mean, I am too.
They'll probably just straight up find a way to reboot it.
That's what I think. I think
I
like,
mean, in
for the
20
next,
years, it'd be fresh enough to
for the next 20
reboot.
years, we'll see. They'll do a few more story arcs. Then Kevin Feige will get old enough to retire. There'll be like a few years in between, and then Disney will reboot.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll be like I'll be too old at that point to give a shit. I'll
You'll
have
be
my
like-
Blu-ray collection. I'll be like, back in my day, we had good Marvel movies.
You'd be like yelling at some children to
Yeah.
come watch like the 50.
You'll have your
movie
Blu-ray collection, and your kids will be like, why do you have physical movies?
Yeah.
Because I gave all my digital codes away.
It's like, I have all the Marvel movies
Yeah,
on the
Lori
implant in
gets
my brain.
Lori gets the good end of the stick here,
Yeah.
where I buy the movies and then give her the digital codes. Which I don't know if we can talk about that because I don't know if that's exactly legal, but who cares? Word, screw the
think
rules.
as
I'm a
long as you don't-
lawbreaker, motherfucker.
I think as long as you don't sell them, it's okay.
Yeah, that is a good point. Lori, give me money.
I mean, in all honesty, it's like you could literally keep the digital code and give the copies away to someone else.
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing.
But, like, I just don't care for digital. So I just give all of my digital codes to Lori.
I just don't own things.
And Lori's happy.
Lori is happy. It gives her more movies. And in return, my mom, she watches a whole bunch of like the stuff and everything because I'm at work all day.
Mhm.
And she's like, I watched Spider-Man. She goes, that movie was so good. And I was like, Mom, you're such a nerd.
I'm Lori and her mom's entertainment support system.
Yeah. God, I taught my mom
Here's some movies.
I taught my mom how to buy movies on Amazon, like digital movies on Amazon. And so now I'll get a call and she'll be like, I put money in your account, and I'll have an email going, Amazon confirmation of purchase. And she'll have like bought a movie.
Ooh, I went to, I got rid of a bunch of movies lately. I went through my whole Blu-ray collection and was like, any movie that I feel like I'm never going to watch again is getting taken out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I had like 10, maybe 15 Blu-rays. I took them to FYE and traded them in. I got like almost $40 for them.
Wow.
The only one
That's
they
like
didn't take.
two Blu-rays.
The only one they didn't take was Kingsman. And I was like, wow, that's weird. They took everything except Kingsman. But it was like, if the movie scanned under a certain price, they couldn't take it. And I guess it scanned under that price.
Yeah, Kingsman is the Kingsman DVDs in like the $5 bin
So-
at Walmart.
Do you want it?
I have it.
I don't know what to do with it.
Even I have Kingsman.
Because it's like,
I have Kingsman on Blu-ray, and I have
'Cause it's
Kingsman
like,
2 on Bluray.
I like the
and I have
movie.
them on digital.
I like the movie, but I'm just like, I don't really know if I'll like ever take the time to ever just rewatch this movie.
I can guarantee
Because like my Blu-ray collection's kind of like very pretentious.
You're
you
very
know
pretentious.
it.
It's funny because like I have my Blu-ray collection, and then my MCU movies have their own shelf up top.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like the top shelf's kind of like franchise movies because I have my Hobbit, my Lord of the Ring box set. Then I have the MCU movies, and then on the other side I have the Fast and Furious movies. But it's funny because I also have the X-Men movies and the DCEu movies, but I don't put them up there. I just kind of put them with the others.
And just sprinkle them out, much
Yeah.
the way that Warner Brothers does their DC movies.
I was like, I don't want these X-Men movies and these DC movies anywhere near my MCU movies.
It's
like
just
you-
occurred to me that, you know, I don't really like the Fast and Furious movies.
Mhm.
I've seen more of those than I have DC movies.
I can't really explain why I like the Fast and Furious movies, but I guess it's
Because you're
just
trash.
They're probably
I
just
guess
fun
it's because
action
I
movies.
grew up
Yeah,
with
it's
them, I guess. And I think they do really good at they're one of the few franchises that really diversified before it became a big deal.
Mhm.
Like from the very first movie, they've been really good on not only having a diverse cast, but having a diverse cast that didn't rely on racial stereotypes.
Mhm.
Like every character is its own character without having to say, oh, that's just the black guy, or
Yeah.
that's just the Latino guy. And I think that's
they,
one of the big
they
reasons.
showed out characters.
Yeah,
and
they
didn't just
fleshed out, they
make them
created
tokens.
characters, and I
Yeah.
think that was really, for a movie series that doesn't have a whole lot of substance outside of just car action,
Mhm.
that's kind of a big deal. It also started Gal's career, so
Yeah,
there's that.
There you go.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she was in 4, 5, and 6.
Oh. Well, what'd you know about that?
Yeah. But it's like, yeah, you look at the Fast and Furious movies, you have... There's one white guy. And the whole ensemble cast, there's one white guy.
Mhm.
And it's like, that's really amazing for a movie series that started in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Because you've got one white guy, one that's like a white Mexican, well, two that's white Mexicans, one that's straight up Latino, two Puerto Ricans, two black guys, a black woman, an Israeli woman, an Asian man, and then The Rock, who's Samoan. So it's like, I'm like, yeah, I mean, they're not great movies, but they're fun. And I
mean,
really enjoy them.
But I think there's nothing wrong with enjoying fun, liking fun movies. Like,
Yeah.
not every movie that you enjoy has to be some movie of amazing substance or
I
something.
disagree.
Brad.
But it's so funny looking at my Blu-ray shelf because it's like literally every movie on there is like your typical good movie. And then like I think like every movie I own, with the exception of like a small handful, are like part of like the top so-and-so movies of all time. And then you have the Fast and the Furious franchise in there.
And on the other hand, my movie collection is a disaster, to
It's funny
say
because,
the
like,
least.
We've got my Blu-ray collection, which is just like a collection of like really great movies, and then you have Maggie's. Our DVD shelf is like 2 rows of good movies and then DreamWorks movies. Like Maggie has every single DreamWorks animated movie, and it bothers me so much. Because I'm just like, you even got the ones that suck. Why? We have very different but very similar tastes in movies. It's so weird. It's so weird.
I've got a really, really weird collection of movies and DVDs.
Oh, I don't even try to show Alicia movies because she, I can't get her to pay attention during the movie. I'm just like, we'll just watch whatever you want. It's fine. We should probably wrap this up.
very
We're just talking about
rarely
random stuff at this point.
Can get Maggie into a movie, but I got her to watch There Will Be Blood, and she really liked it, so that made me happy.
Nice. I haven't
Because
seen
There
it.
Will Be Blood is the greatest movie ever made,
I haven't seen
and no one can ever tell me it's not.
This has been William's take on the DC universe.
it.
Literally, just final thing here. Everyone says, "Oh, The Godfather's the greatest movie ever made." It's good, but There Will Be Blood is better. So
Okay.
that's William's final thought.
So-
Question of the day.
If you were a mumble rapper, what would your face tattoo be?
Jesus Christ.
There you go. That's it.
So if you guys have any sort of comments or questions or ideas on what we've talked about or what you want to hear us talk about, you can always email us at nerdlykingdom@gmail.com. You can get us on Facebook, maybe, at The Nerdly Kingdom. You can get us
Big ol'
on
maybe.
Instagram at The Nerdly Kingdom, or you can get us on Twitter at _nerddom. We'd love to hear from from you because we need ideas. We're also planning on doing a
Very
Halloween. We're also planning on doing a Halloween episode. So
Hopefully.
you should let us know what some of your favorite Halloween movies or even Halloween television is that you watch like each year and everything, and just what your Halloween traditions are, because Halloween is fantastic.
I watched the Garfield Halloween.
Fun fact, I've never seen Hocus Pocus.
I haven't either.
It's a good movie. Y'all should watch it.
No.
Maggie was like, "You've never seen Hocus Pocus?" And I was like, "Yeah, because I didn't give a shit for all that kiddie Halloween shit."
I prefer Practical Magic if I'm gonna watch like
I have seen Practical
if I'm gonna
Magic.
watch like a witch Halloweenish movie,
See,
I'm gonna
that's
watch
the thing,
Practical
even-
Magic.
Like, when you're a kid, everyone kind of like watches those Disney Channel kind of Halloween movies.
Hocus Pocus isn't really so much like a Disney Channel Halloween.
Yeah,
movie,
but it's
though.
like I kind of group like kiddie Halloween stuff. Kind of, I group all that in that. And even when I was a kid, like I was just like, oh, I want to watch a horror movie. Like I was never into like diluted, scary stuff.
I was never into any kind of scary stuff.
Like I like horror movies, but I never was just into like
I was as a little kid.
that
It's
kind of
like
stuff. So.
yeah,
The closest I got to scary stuff was Goosebumps, and even that I was kind of...
Goosebumps used to scare me.
And that's what we're going to end this on.
So,
All right, everyone,
thank
have
you
a
for
wonderful
listening, guys. Hopefully, it won't be another several months before you hear about us again.
week. Seriously.
Yeah, well, yeah, a lot of that was technical difficulties and personal problems all happening at the same time. We
Yeah.
have 3 episodes that I physically can't seem to get to edit because of different reasons. But yeah, maybe one day I'll figure it out.
Hey, if any of you guys are techie out there, you should email us at nerdlykingdom@gmail.com or reach us on Instagram at the Nerdly
my
Kingdom
gosh.
or on Twitter at _nerddom.
I swear if this goes over time for this one joke.
That's enough. We're done. I have to pee.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.